This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/mapperforward to find out how you can become a member today. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. We are into episode 4 of a 5-part series, a very entertaining 5-part series with specialty coffee connoisseur, which I never use that word for anybody, but Fatima, you deserve that title. Specialty coffee connoisseur Fatima. And Fatima is in Dubai, and she has been filling us in on how, as a consumer, she approaches specialty coffee and her obsession with it. Now, after the story you told us in the last episode, Fatima, about how you go into specialty coffee shops and you speak very plainly with baristas and you ask them a lot of questions, and there have been occasions where you have asked them if you could brew your own coffee. So my question for you in this episode of the podcast is, what is the specialty coffee industry getting right and wrong about specialty coffee consumers like you?
I have a question to the specialty industry.
Oh, I can't wait. Go on.
What is specialty coffee exactly?
Oh, this is fantastic. This is such a fantastic question.
What is specialty coffee?
Do you want me to answer the question, or do you want me to talk to you about that, and we can maybe go backwards and forwards about it, or do you have an idea?
Tell me your opinion.
Look, I've been in the industry for 20 years, and when I started in the industry, we didn't even really have a term for it. So I've always worked in the specialty coffee industry, but at the beginning of my career, we didn't know that's what it was called. We just knew that the kind of coffee that we were serving was like craft coffee, or it was artisan coffee. It was different than, let's say, the traditional brands of coffee. So when people would say to us, like, what is this coffee? We would say, it's not traditional coffee. And back then, specialty coffee represented a flavor. Right? Back then, it was all about flavor. Today, in my opinion, because there is no definition of the specialty coffee movement, I think specialty coffee is more about experience on a holistic level than it is about what's in the cup. And we've recorded a series with a coffee scientist, Shahan Yetzerian. And the really, really interesting thing about that, when I spoke to him about what specialty coffee was, is he talked about it from the perspective of it being an industry versus it being a movement. Mm-hmm. And it was really fascinating to hear the way that he spoke about the evolution of specialty coffee, to the point where we no longer really can define what specialty coffee is just in one sentence. And This is why with my consulting clients, I really kind of push them towards the idea of separating themselves out from such an ambiguous term as specialty coffee, because there's this wonderful kind of romance about this idea of specialty coffee. I think using the term experience coffee helps you align yourself with customers better, so that customers really do understand what you mean by what I think people mean when they say specialty coffee.
And I prefer that, honestly.
Yeah. As a consumer for you, would that, if you saw the term, let me ask you a different way. How would you respond to seeing a coffee that was called an experience coffee versus a specialty coffee?
I will jump to it, definitely.
Really?
Because from the word itself, I feel that there is something needs to be explored at this place. Now, the question is, what is specialty coffee is let's explore this example. Now we have a group of people, right? They are all customers to a certain coffee shop. The coffee shop sign is saying specialty coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say this coffee shop at this moment is having 30 customers at this moment, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Who are they? Who are these customers? And what is their favorite cup of coffee at this coffee shop? And what is their characteristics and behavior regarding their relationship with their cup of coffee? Who are they exactly? How do you define the customers who are really into specialty coffee, and who the other customers who are, I don't know what they call, maybe they call the adapters, who really
Mm-hmm. Early
have their
adopters.
cup of coffee
Mm-hmm.
exactly just to have the caffeine or just to have a cup of coffee,
Right. Not
right?
early adopters. They're just caffeine drinkers rather
Just
than
just
specialty
caffeine
coffee drinkers.
drinkers.
Yep.
Exactly. So when it comes to specialty coffee, it's really hard to define this term, because in terms of consumers, because I really love drinking specialty coffee,
Mm-hmm.
especially specialty coffee, and I know what I'm drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority, they have their own preference in having their cup of coffee, and they don't know exactly. They know it's called specialty, but they don't know exactly what is specialty.
Mm.
So if you come and ask me as a consumer, what is specialty coffee? I may tell you, yeah, it is a high quality coffee that is graded, certified, plus 80, plus 90, something like that. The coffee that has been taken care of through the whole process, right? But the majority who are sitting right now in the coffee shop, they really don't know exactly what is specialty coffee. And they've never, maybe most of them, they've never tasted the coffee, because they always ask for coffee with milk, with syrups, with sugar, with different flavors. But what's specialty coffee to the customers? How do they know that this is a special? So I've asked different people, and they're having a coffee at the specialty coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
What is specialty coffee? They said it's expensive coffee.
Oh,
Other people, they're
wow.
saying, yeah, they have this thing in that they link specialty coffee with prices. Some of them, they're linking it with the prices. Some of them, they're linking it with the taste of it. They said it's something fruity. Said no, it's not something fruity, and it's not always expensive. It depends. So what is a specialty coffee to the customers exactly? I know what is a specialty coffee. I am maybe one of the 2% from the majority
Right.
who knows exactly what is drinking, what he's drinking, what she's drinking. But the majority, if you will ask
They don't
what is a
know.
specialty coffee, they don't know exactly what is specialty coffee.
And is that a failing of the industry, do you think, that our workforce is not helping consumers understand exactly what it is that we do and
Definitely.
how specialty coffee is different from, let's say, commercial coffee shops?
Exactly. So sometimes I have this conversation with people. Let's try this coffee shop. They have this specialty coffee. I said, what is the difference between them and Starbucks? Or what is the I prefer Starbucks. Why do you have to go to this coffee shop? Their
Mm.
coffee is really sour, acidic, fruity, and this is the terms that they're using for specialty coffee here. Most of them, and the
Mm-hmm.
majority. And this is what I see here right now in the community. Most of them, yes, there is an awareness, especially after the pandemic. People, they try to dig and explore more in coffee when we had when in the pandemic phase, everyone started to get their own tools, their own
Mm.
coffee, and from there they started to understand exactly what is specialty coffee and what is their favorite cup of coffee, because for the whole years they're ordering the same cup of coffee, and they think that this is their favorite cup of coffee, where they have the milk and syrups and sugar. But do they really understand exactly what is specialty coffee? No, the majority. I can say that 90% they don't know exactly what is specialty coffee. If someone if someone is sitting at the same table, if I'm sitting at the same table with someone else, I have this order and the other customer is having the other order. How do you explain for the customer that this is a specialty and the same cup that I'm having is specialty? It's the same origin, same cup of coffee, but the other person is drinking it with milk and syrups and different things, but he doesn't care or she doesn't care about this cup of coffee or where it comes from, what is the origin. Some of them, they care if it's fruity or not. So we have different categories. Category A, they don't care exactly what is their cup of coffee. Just they need their cup of coffee, but what origin, what process, and what are the tasting notes. This is not something important to them. If it's graded plus 80, 89, plus 90, it's not something important to them. The group B, they care about the taste. So they will ask if it's fruity or not. And group C, I'm with them. I really care about all of the terms that I've explained earlier.
Wow.
So I believe that there is a big gap between the coffee industry and the consumers. And if you're asking me what the specialty coffee industry is getting right and wrong, this is something that it should be enhanced. There should be more engagement, more connection with the consumers to understand the consumer exactly and to understand who are the majority of the consumers, what their favorite cup of coffee, what do they prefer, do they really understand what is specialty coffee or not. So when people are saying that the coffee prices is going up right now, and we understand, and so assume that 2% they really understand what's going on and they're really willing to pay if the prices is going up. But you have 98% of the consumers that really don't care if it's going up because they don't know exactly what's going on.
They don't understand right. They don't understand the supply chain. They don't understand the labor shortages. They don't understand logistics. They don't understand the economics. They don't understand anything.
So how will you spread the awareness to these people, to these consumers, saying that, guys, next month the prices will be high, and instead of paying 20 dirhams for your cup of coffee, you're going to pay 40 dirhams, for example, right? So he will ask why, rather than explaining at that moment, at that spot, that because of the climate changes of producers exporting, importing, lots of things. This should be the industry, the specialty coffee industry should take a step forward from now, spreading the awareness to the consumers that, guys, this is what is going to happen next. Why? There should be more engagement with the consumers. Wow. Because maybe the majority, they really don't care because they have other options. They have the commercial and the instant coffee. But we do care about it.
And I guess what it sounds like you're saying is that if we want more consumers like you, we have to start engaging more with consumers like you or adjacent to you so that we can bring them in to turn them into super fans of specialty coffee like you are.
Yeah, you need to convince when it comes to raising the cost in the future.
Yeah,
there should be a relationship. There should be a relationship and an engagement between the industry, and they should close the gap between the consumer and the industry. And the industry should go and serve their minds to better understand what are the consumers, for example, love or like, prefer to have, what knowledge that they have right now, what awareness, what is the awareness level that they're having right now, in order to tell them, yes, your cup of coffee is, you have to pay 40 dirhams instead of 20 dirhams for your cup of coffee right now. So there should be more engagement, more awareness, and more education for as well for the people behind the bars, because if I'm going to order a coffee, I know what I'm going to order. And sometimes I'll tell the
Do
barista,
you know
just
what
go
I'm going to
inside.
order?
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm going to order. But sometimes there is something, I believe that not all of the coffee shops, not all of the baristas. Some of the baristas, they're really educated and they know what they're doing.
Mhm.
But the majority, it's either they're really lazy to explain what is this coffee to the customer,
Or they don't know.
or they don't know. So and this is really
All I
it's
can
a
see,
problem.
I'm just trying to imagine the next time if any of the baristas in Dubai, and I know a lot of baristas in Dubai listen to this podcast, I think that they are going to be shivering the next time they see you walk into their cafe.
So
If they don't
just
already. I think they already do, right?
the
Oh,
barista
this is
starts running
fantastic.
from me.
So we've got one episode to go. So we're gonna wind up this series with some wisdom from you. So join us for the next episode, folks. Sadly, our last episode with Fatima for this series, but yeah, let's go have that conversation, Fatima. This is awesome. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.